Go short. It's
Did you try to go back and listen to episode 1 in preparation for this?
No, I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna walk you through my attempt at going back and listening to Fetch and Shock episode 1.
Do I want to?
I mean, so I can at least tell you so that you don't have to make that mistake in the future.
Fair.
I went on to the Podbean. I hit play on episode 1. I got maybe 15 minutes into it, and I fucking couldn't stand it anymore.
That bad or that good?
It was a mix of like, oh, this is very nostalgic, and oh, we are very bad at this. Also, I'm pissed I couldn't get whiskey for this.
What was that?
I just wanted to do a run back of episode 1.
Oh, and just get obliterated.
Yeah, just drink too much.
And just random nonsense yelling at each other.
And just scream at each other for like 2 hours.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
It's really a tough job being that incoherent and yelling at a human being. It's not easy.
It takes a level of practice that a lot of people can't comprehend.
Yeah, there's a lot of focus involved. Just sheer force of will to get to that point and not give up. You can't rest on your laurels when it comes to drinking and yelling at one of your friends on a podcast.
Loudly and longly. Longly, is that a word?
It is now. Add that to the book
to the
with
fucking
Themey.
dictionary.
We're going to have an entire book by the end of year 2 of just words Matt has created.
Someone's got it.
I used Themey in a conversation like this past week, and the person looked at me like I had 2 fucking heads.
But yeah, it's a word, motherfucker.
I was like, yeah, Themey. It doesn't everybody just know that that is a word that now exists ever since Matt Bopp created it on episode like 32 of the Fetch and Shock podcast?
Degenerates don't knowing where they come from.
That's what we need to do. All of the fucking daddies out there, all of the spicy boys, need to just start using the words that you create on a daily basis until they are forced to add it to the dictionary.
Shit, dude, that's happened before. Not with my words.
No, like selfie. That's a real word in the dictionary just because people use it a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's other dumb, like, nonsensical shit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I don't know what they are off the top of my head because I don't give a shit, but I give a shit about me and my stuff.
What is up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Fetch and Shock podcast. I am your host, a disgruntled legacy player, Tyler, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, the smart one that's only playing old school, Matt. Matt, what is going on, dude?
I'm playing pre-modern too, you liar.
Oh, yep, my bad.
How dare you?
Middle school and old school.
Yeah, but just hanging out. I was going to add a bunch of shit to my list of stuff I'm getting rid of yesterday, but some stuff came up, and one of my out-of-state buddies was in the area for work, and he came over, had some beers, had some dinner, and he crashed here and went back to the site today.
Did you guys make sure that you drank your beers at least 6 feet apart from each other?
Yes.
Good boy. I'm very proud.
We still in phase 1.
Yeah, because up in New York, you guys are still in pretty much lockdown, right?
Pretty close to it. Not nearly as strict as it was. There's also like a spike in cases since like they're like, hey, we're going to start letting people go do shit again.
Well, I mean, that was just kind of to be assumed, right?
Yeah, it's inevitable for that to happen.
Yeah, sure. Well, everything is still hunky-dory down here in rural PA, bud.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It was fucking gorgeous here today, too.
Oh, yeah, the weather's been nice, so I've been, like, outside. I've get to play skateboard recently, which is something I didn't expect I'd be able to do ever again.
With the rain.
Yeah, oh my god, the rain fucking ruined my life. But yeah, I got to play skateboard. I got to get out of the house. I have not been playing Magic the Gathering recently.
Oh, yeah? Why is that? It's playing skateboard.
One, I get to go outside, and I get to enjoy fresh air, get to take the dog for a walk, and I get to play skateboard. I've also been playing other games other than Magic the Gathering.
What's that?
So there's 2 games that I've been playing with some of my homies that I grew up with. We have been playing, first of all, we started Fallout 76, like the Fallout, but it's like a online version of it. And the game is fine, but let me tell you, any game that says, hey, you need to remember to eat and drink or else you die, that is by a significant margin the worst thing that you could possibly put in a video game. I fucking despise it.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
I hate it. But like, besides that, the game is fun. I've also been playing a game called ultimate chicken horse, and by no exaggeration, this is not even kind of hyperbole. It is the greatest game.
Explain yourself.
It is so good, dude. So basically the concept of the game is, it's like a little platformer, and you and up to 3 other human beings start out, and you go to like a blank canvas map where there's a start point and a finish line, and you just have to get to the end of it. And if everybody gets it, then nobody gets a point. But if somebody gets there and then other people don't, then you get points for getting to the finish line. And every round, after either everybody makes it or everybody dies or somebody makes it and other people die, you get to add things to the level.
Like
either like a crossbow that like shoots arrows across the map, or like a set of stairs that like takes you up and around. So it's like you're playing it and you're building a level while you're playing the level. And the whole entire thing just evolves into, how can I make it so I make it through this and everybody else dies? But it's fucking incredible, dude. It is so much fun, and it is the most infuriating game on the planet. I love it. I've never been happier playing a video game. And it's just all of like my friends just sitting there, just screaming at the top of our lungs at each other, while us as little chickens or a little horse or a little squirrel are like jumping from platform to platform, not getting shot by flying tennis balls that are on fire. It's the greatest game ever.
It seems like it would be a fun drinking.
Well, Matt, every game that I play is a drinking.
It's a drinking, yeah. Touche.
So
you can make any game a drinking game if you have the guts.
I'll tell you what, Matt, you know what I would also consider a good drinking game?
Magic the Gathering.
You nailed it. Magic the Gathering I would consider a really good drinking game. Pretty cool, right?
But it is.
And you know what? I've heard it's somebody's birthday today.
Whose birthday is it today?
It's our birthday, Matt.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You fucking idiot.
I really thought that there was something else to that.
No, there's no other lead into that. It's our birthday.
Happy birthday, and shock.
Yep, cue up the happy birthday music. Let it play in the background.
I completely forgot about fucking curving you today.
Yeah, you were talking a lot of shit about this long con that you were just not gonna call me.
I fucked up.
And I honestly didn't hear from you most of today, and I was like, he's gonna actually go through with this thing. And then you called me like an hour before we were supposed to record, and you're like, okay, we ready to go? And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. And then I hung up the phone. I was like, he totally forgot about the long con.
I did.
He's been working an entire year on this, building up to it, and then just nope, he's not gonna ditch it on the very last day.
Yeah, I completely slipped my mind.
So Matt, do you have a favorite moment from the last year of Fetch and Shock?
Do I have a favorite moment? Probably the in-person one. That was fun.
Oh, that is in a upper echelon of moments that have happened in my life. When it was, what was it? Eternal Weekend this past year?
Yes, that was one of them. And we did another one in person when we went to Syracuse.
Yeah, that was a Syracuse one. But the one where we did it in Pittsburgh for Eternal Weekend, and we met that Canadian guy, and he came in at the end of that podcast.
When Kev was shouting him out.
Yep. That was one of the greatest moments I've ever lived.
Yeah, it was fun. We were trashed too, so that was...
Oh, yeah. We were probably... Episode 1 is easily the drunkest we've ever been while recording. That might be a close 2.
No, I don't think so.
You think it's just not close?
I think like the first 5 to 10 episodes we were trashed.
And then we got our shit together.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with killing my liver like that.
That's very
I
true.
do it spaciously now.
I think also our first episode with Corey, that was something that was really, really fucking cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a blast.
We've only ever had 3 guests. Corey,
Kev, and Z. That was our favorite moments from the past year. What are some goals for year 2?
To not forget the long con. The day fucking of.
To quit the day before the year 2 hits.
No, I want to have some other folks on.
More guests. I'd be very pro that. I mean, I've been loving what the Discord's been doing.
Yeah, that's been fun. Getting to chat with some folks.
Yes, and I want to do some sort of like live stream with you and I. Whenever this COVID stuff is all said and done, where we can actually sit down and do something like in person together. That's going to be sick.
Yeah, that'll be...
Big fan of that idea. Yeah, I mean, and then just like the general takeover of the MTG podcast world.
I don't have time for that.
Well, we've already got a good start. Might as well finish the job, right?
I'm cool with plateauing.
Plateau, I always saw you as more of a Savannah kind of guy.
Get the fuck out of here.
I got fucking the jokes today, bud.
Don't talk to me. Talk into the mic and I'll listen, but don't talk.
Well, Matt, I guess you want to maybe talk about some things that happened in the Magic community or in the world of Magic the Gathering this week before we dive into some viewer questions.
Mailbag.
Inevitable announcement of our 1 year giveaway.
Yeah, that we can.
Because let's be honest, the only reason why people are listening to this is to see if they won our giveaway.
That's fuck them. I'm not telling anyone. Next week is when you find out, you sons of bitches.
Oh, that's actually the long con.
That's a curve.
Stringing people along that we're gonna announce it next week, and then a year from now, that's when we announce it.
Yeah.
And then right before we get to the actual announcement episode, that's when you quit.
Yeah, that'd be super shitty and fantastic.
Oh, the tangle webs we weave. I love that strategy.
It's actually really funny.
But first thing that I think we could talk about is something that didn't actually happen. And that was the Ikoria pre-release that was supposedly supposed to happen this past weekend.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
The alleged pre-release. In quotes, air quotes. On our Discord, there were a couple people who were kind of showing off some of the packs they received. I saw a bunch on Twitter, some people showing off packs. I got a pre-release pack, and I got to actually open it up because if I don't get to play the pre-release, I still want to be able to get my hands on it. Because I don't miss pre-releases. That's not something I ever want to do.
See, I actually had zero plans of buying anything. I wasn't going to buy this set at all.
Oh, really? You're just going to completely just dodge Ikoria in its entirety?
Yep.
Huh.
And then I was at Target, and I saw one of those, like, the new fat packs or whatever they are.
Oh, yeah, like those bundles.
Yeah, you get 10 packs in it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. And I got the Zagath Triome, which I was trying to get off of Dave, which I will eventually once the prices settle.
Yeah, sure.
And if he wants to get rid of it because he hates foils, so
amen.
That's a foil. A foil lover's best friend is
somebody who doesn't like foils.
Yeah.
Yeah, the universe has a way to balance itself out.
And then I'm still trying to get rid of all that shit. No one did anything with that list. Granted, that's not the best stuff that I have. I've just been really busy and shit keeps coming up where I can't put the other stuff in. Also, you see something in that fucking list and you want it, let me know. I'll work something out.
Matt, what list are you talking about?
The fucking list of shit I'm trying to get out of in the Discord.
Oh, where would you be able to find that list?
I just said it, the Discord, you idiot.
The Fetch a Chalk Discord, is that where you could possibly find it?
Yes, shameless plug.
Under the what? The buy sell trade tab, maybe?
But if you want it, let me know. Because if it's listed, say for like $5 and you say, hey, I'll give you 3, sold. Or if you buy a bunch of shit, I'll give you a deal on it because I want rid of it.
I love it. You're just plugging your binder right now.
I don't want it, and like I want to get rid of it. So I'll shameless plug everything I want.
That's what we're just needlessly shilling on our 1 year episode.
Yeah, see, you get it.
Yeah, it's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, my Ikoria pre-release pack was abysmal, but
you got that foil Urion.
I did get the foil Euron.
Euron. I thought there was an I in there.
There is, but like I feel like it's silent.
I don't think that it is, but that's cool. Whatever.
I mean, it's Magic cards, right? Nobody pronounces them right.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, my pre-release, I got to actually open it. My rares were god awful except for the foil companion. That was my pre-release card. And then I built my sealed pool into a deck. And
I actually didn't see that. Is it hot trash?
No, my deck is actually really good, but it's 60 cards.
Well, yeah, it has to.
Yeah, because I'm playing. You have to play Euron.
It'd be weird if you didn't.
I mean, those companion is just such a busted mechanic that if you can afford to play it in your deck in limited, you just lean into it.
What did you do? Did you just put cycling shit in it?
I have a good amount of cycling, and all of the stuff in the format in general that cycles is just cycle for colorless anyway, so it's essentially a free splash. And I did 4 color everything but black. So like, what is it? Moist Naya? Can we call it that?
You probably just offended someone saying the word moist.
Moist Naya.
I can dig it.
Bant on fire.
Fire bant.
I like Moist Naya. We're gonna keep with that one.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do, bro.
But yeah, it's just a bunch of cycling cards and all of the mutate cards. My black was abysmal, so I just jammed everything that was good in those 4 colors into a pile of 60 cards. Threw lands in with it. And I think the deck is actually playable, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, companions do some work, that's for sure.
I mean, I also have some pretty busted rares. Like I have the King Kong 6-drop that when it comes in, it fights something. I have the, was it Gray's Runner?
I have no idea.
The mutate one that destroys an artifact or enchantment when it mutates. It's a 3.
The green dude.
Yep, 3 and a green for a 4/4, and then it mutates for 1 and 2 green. It has reach and trample. That card's really, really good. And then just generically good cards.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to when you're doing the 4-color non.
I could have easily made just a very playable blue-green deck and then just like threw Urine in the deck, and I would have been A-okay. The deck would have been solid. But if you open up Urine, you have to play the 60 cards. You can't not do it.
Yeah, that's one of those cards where it's well worth the actual
Yeah, all the hassle
deck building requirement. Yeah, the hassle. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, all the hassle you have to go through building it, and just always having a 5/4 flyer on turn 5 every single game you play, worth it. Turns out.
Yeah, that you can pretty much always play on curve.
Yeah, and I'm drawing so many lands too that it's not like that's an issue. It's like hitting my land drops. Half the deck has cycling for either 1 or 2.
And you can just jam that shit with the cycling stuff, yeah, and you're golden.
Oh yeah, but it's also sealed. You and me both have a very similar feeling about sealed, where it's just like we're not big fans. But this sealed deck, I'm actually excited about, and I think it would be so much fun to actually play.
Yeah, sealed is whatever. I've always been a big proponent of not a fan.
I would love to keep this deck together. I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything with it. None of the rares are very good, so it doesn't matter. But I would love to keep this deck together, and then eventually when we get the chance to go play Paper Magic with the other human beings, have people who also got sealed pools to keep their deck together,
play them,
and then just jam a couple games with our sealed decks.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just like then it would be like a delayed pre-release experience. I would really, really enjoy that.
That'd be fun. I just would need to buy a pre-release deck.
I'm sure you can find them places. LGSs are probably packed full of them. I know the one that I got mine from, they said that they were offering them to that you can pre-order them, and normally they would sell out of their pre-order because it's a pretty small shop. They would sell out of their pre-order very early. This time they are going to have stuff left over.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I did open, I think, what the most expensive card is that Fiend, the Fiend Artisan. One of the lands and the Shark Typhoon. It's a couple bucks.
Oh, my rares were garbage, but my sealed deck is sweet. All of your packs that you opened, I don't know what your sealed deck would have looked like, but your rares were gross.
I also had 10 packs, but yeah, my rares were pretty good.
I mean, I even think you take out your 5 best rares, and your rares are still better than mine.
That might be a bit of a stretch, but I get what you're saying.
You know what's one thing neither of us opened, which is kind of surprising?
What?
Neither of us opened Aluris.
No, that's true. Dave opened a foil one.
That is an incredible card to open. But, I mean, maybe not now, considering that, Matt, there was a banned and restricted announcement this week.
That was smooth, and you just fed off of that.
Listen, I was born for this.
Apparently.
Yeah, so we had a banned and restricted announcement this week, and we made some called shots last week about...
Were they really called shots, or was it like pretty obvious things that were inevitable to happen?
Our called shots that we tried to make, they were not really correct.
No, not quite, but they were pretty close.
We tried, and we kind of failed a little bit. But to recap, this banned and restricted announcement that happened on the 18th banned Luris outright in Vintage. In Legacy, Zirda and Luris were banned outright. And then in Brawl, Draneth Magistrate, which is the card that says your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. I would imagine that's probably kind of shitty in Brawl, considering that your commander isn't in your hand. And then Winota, which apparently, from what people have told us in our Discord, that card was pretty good.
Yeah, we just attack 16 real quick.
But I think the ones that we were most shocked about, you and I both were in the agreement that they should probably just ban the mechanic outright in Vintage. They didn't do that. They just actually banned the card Luris. Matt, did you ever think, that you were going to see a day where a card was banned in Vintage because it was too powerful?
Well, no. First of all, obviously not. That one just that, like we were talking about last week, just that weird corner case where it doesn't matter if you would restrict it. because you can it's still just the one of.
Yeah,
And
restricting
it
does
can-
actually nothing to the.
Yeah, if it wasn't like outside in a companion zone, obviously nearly as good. And I think that's
No,
the
you're right.
reasoning.
But instead of allowing players to have access to that in their deck outside of the companion mechanic, they decided to ban the card entirely. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, in Vintage, sure, you just rather have the card not exist than have a world where
That's the only thing people are playing.
people are just trying to jam the copies of that in their main deck, and it just being like a thing in the format that they're just going to have to readdress. Because I think the worst thing that Wizards wants to do is ever address Vintage ever. Because if they ever have to address Vintage, that's a lot of work, I think, internally for people that don't actually know a ton about Vintage.
Yeah, I think it's eventually going to be like a player-run format, kind of like how
Kinda
old
like
school
Commander.
and pre-modern are in Commander. Yeah.
I could see that happening, and I think that would be kind of fine. You just have to have the right people on whatever committee that runs them.
It would be the people who play and who don't call for restrictions every 20 days or whatever.
Creating that list of people would be kind of tough, don't you think?
No, if I really thought about it, I could think of people who most things, like when stuff gets restricted in Vintage, there's really not a big like outcry. The one thing that people would really freak out about, or like if Workshop or Bazaar got restricted. Those are really the only ones that people are like, what the fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
Because if those ever get restricted, like so many stop.
I don't think at
Vintage.
this point, I don't think those are ever going to get touched.
Let's hope not. They've created that where they would rather ban the cards.
Yep,
The
yeah,
cards,
that's a
like the
precedent.
broken shit. Yeah,
That's a
like-
precedent now for Vintage.
like Trinisphere or Lodestone Golem. Because they could restrict it, but you could honestly just put 3 City of Traders, and yes, it would be much slower and not as good, but it really wouldn't do that much.
You're right. Well, let's talk about
That's
Legacy
just
now.
I don't play shops, but that's
Yeah.
what I would assume would happen.
Well, let's talk about Legacy now, because in Legacy we got 2 companions, the cards outright banned, and I have an opinion on this, and there is a lot of, I guess, high-profile players who share the same opinion that I do about this banning. I think Wizards totally fucking blew it with this one.
Yeah, you weren't very happy.
No, was not pleased with this one at all. This was a not very well thought out execution for the companion mechanic in the Legacy format. They just looked at it and banned the 2 cards that on the surface were the most problematic, and they didn't look farther than that at all.
Yeah, that was what's the biggest problem right now,
Yeah.
which was Luris, and I don't think Zirda was like a massive problem. I think it was more, hey, this is going to be an issue.
Well,
Once we
Zirda
get
was
rid
the
of
only
this.
other. Zirda was really the only other companion that could put its dukes up against
Luris, yeah,
and come out with any kind of positive record.
that makes sense.
But now, like, the format is going to be weird.
It's going to be Yorion, whatever that fucking thing
Yorn,
is.
the 5 mana
60
one
or the 80 card decks.
that makes you have an 80 card deck. I think the format is going to look a lot like that, with the Yorn decks really stepping in and kind of just calling the shots, riding the coattail of Arkham's Astrolabe, because that card is just busted, and I don't understand why Wizards can't see that card is just so busted. In addition to that, I think that now the door is open for other companions.
I think the only ones that really have any room to stand on is going to be Yorin in Legacy at least.
Well,
I don't think the
people
other
have-
ones.
Already been putting up records, and we're in the very first week of it. People are already putting up winning records, like 5-0 after 5-0 after 5-0, with Garuda, Tinfins.
Tinfin, is that the one with Children of Corliss and Gristlebrand?
Yeah, well, it's more like Mono Black Reanimator, but it feels very Tinfin-y in the way that you're just trying to like combo to get your Garuda out, so you
Yeah,
can
'cause then
get your free Gristlebrand.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like, and if that deck takes off, fucking good luck. Because Leyline doesn't work with it. Rest in Peace doesn't work with it. Like, it gets around those things, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that's a bit absurd. That's just
So,
a
like, the things
weird.
that are specifically made to hate on it doesn't work. The only thing that really works conceivably is like a containment priest kind of thing. And containment priest is just stone unplayable because white is bad.
Yeah, white's be unplayable.
Yeah, so I think they were very
Short-sighted.
yeah, they were short-sighted is the 100% the word that I would use. They were super short-sighted with how they decided to make this happen.
And I don't really play Legacy, so I don't see that as much. But I know you do like playing Legacy.
Oh, I love Legacy, best format ever. But that's what makes me sad about it. The fact that the choices that Wizards has made it so I don't want to play Legacy. I like my favorite format for the past 6 months. I have not played a single game because I just hate the format that much.
Because of that.
Because of Oko coming in it was Ren and 6 first, and then after Ren and 6 it was good for like a week, and then the Oko piles, the 4-color just garbage piles with Astrolabe and stuff started moving in. That made the format really, really unfun. And then Companions came out, and that made the format unfun. And now Companions are gone, and we're just back to the Snowco pile meta. Like, Legacy sucks. Legacy's a shit format right now.
I think you would like pre-modern, dude.
I'm reaching at straws to find a Magic format that I'm actually into right now.
I think pre-modern might be your cup of tea. It's pretty much Legacy, but instead of that, it's basically like super extended.
I have to look into it because
I think it's fourth or Chronicles to Scourge.
Because I'm not gonna say I haven't been digging Commander.
Yeah, you've been into that quite a bit.
Yeah, so I haven't been, and I am playing some Standard a little bit. I still love Draft. I've been playing a shitload of Commander, and I love Commander, but none of those formats satisfy the itch that Legacy satisfied for me. And I'm like trying to fill that magic void in my chest with something, and it's just nothing's there.
Nothing quite gets there.
That's sad. I need white creatures again in my life.
What about red creatures and playing gobos?
I can do that in pre-modern.
That's what I'm saying. You can do that in pre-modern.
No, I think I'd play like a Dead Guy L strategy in modern or in pre-modern.
You could do that too.
I like that a lot. Like I have Mom. I have all those other cool creatures.
We were talking about that. You did like the idea of.
I really liked a
white,
black-white aggro attrition deck.
Get some Vindicates in there and
just play 4 Wastelands and 4 Rashadan Ports.
I don't think you can pull that off in a 2-color deck.
Oh, that's what you think.
That is what I think.
I'll make it happen. I'm gonna change the game. But yeah, that was the DNR announcement.
Yeah,
overall,
it was wild.
Wasn't particularly happy about it.
Nothing too crazy. You really just wanted to see Astrolabe go, or do you think it would be as bad with if, say, they just said, "Hey, Oko, you're gone, but Astrolabe's here to stay"?
I think Oko is at the power level that is Legacy. Like across the board, the power level of things in Legacy is the power level that Oko is sitting at.
And you think that's fine?
And I think that's A-okay. I think the card that is really ruining things and pushing the boundaries of what is allowed in Legacy is Astrolabe. Because the whole entire concept is that there are things in the format that prevent you from being able to be greedy while also being consistent. Like if you want to be greedy and you want to play all of the colors, then there are decks like Delver, like Death and Taxes, other Wasteland decks, like any of the Stompy decks that are there to prevent you from just taking over the game or taking over the format with all of your incredibly powerful. But in Legacy now, it's just there is one deck that gets to ignore how the format has been since its inception and say, I'm going to have my cake and I'm going to eat it too. Where I get to play basics and I get to be insulated from Wasteland. I get to be insulated from Rashadan Port. I get to be insulated from all of these things that you are going to do to me. I get to be insulated from back to basics. Hell, these Oko decks are playing back to basic to wreck other
4-color decks,
playing Astrolabe. Like, that's it. How is that an acceptable thing? This 4-color deck gets to play back to basics, a card that says non-basic lands do not untap.
And
this 4-color deck is playing that card. How fucking disgusting is that?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I'll give you that.
And like Blood Moon does nothing against it because basics.
Well, yeah, it's basics, and you have an artifact that can it doesn't require colorless mana or it doesn't require snow mana to use it to play it.
It's just regular normal ass mana. Yeah, we've talked about the Astrolabe thing ad nauseum, but I like hearing you bitch about it. I don't think I've ever hated a card more than Arkham Astrolabe. We did that top 5. Are you talking about Kolaghan's Command?
Kolaghan's Command. There we go.
Okay, maybe I've hated one card more than Arkham's Astrolabe.
If you played Kolaghan's Command, you destroy Astrolabes.
You see, but all of the decks that are playing Astrolabe can also just play Kolaghan's Command.
You gotta be the monster to...
Well, here's the thing. I'm so unlucky, and I'm never on the play. So they get to their Kolaghan's Command, and they're making me discard a card with it, and I have to discard Kolaghan's Command. You see my problem?
I see your problem.
Well, let's move on to something a little bit more positive. Matt, have you heard of this new thing Wizards is doing called the Love Your LGS program?
I actually have not. Did not hear about
it. Is actually pretty sweet. So this whole thing is essentially to give people incentive to, whenever they are allowed to actually go to their LGS or order cards from their LGS, to get an incentive to actually go do that instead of just buying cards online. And in order to incentivize people to do that, they are giving LGSs promos to give out for specific types of purchase. And these promos, I don't know if you've seen these or not, but the promos are a foil reliquary tower with new art, and the other is a Godzilla art version of Hangerback Water. It is Mecha Godzilla Battle. You get the reliquary tower if you make any purchase at your LGS, apparently. And then the special art Hangerback Walker you get from purchasing any boxed product, like a booster box product from your LGS. So
it's a pretty cool reliquary tower.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the reliquary tower is sick, but that Hangerback Walker is wild.
It'd be better if they did a...
I can't believe you just said that, because that was the first thing I saw when I looked at this card. I'm like, oh, it's a Godzilla with fucking guns on it? That's just a walking ballista.
It's a...
Because it's an artifact with XX. I was
Yeah,
like, it has to be walking ballista. Oh, it's Hangerback Walker. Walking ballista is literally a walking gun.
Yes.
And Mecha Godzilla on this art looks like a walking gun. How did they miss the mark so hard on this? They were
missed
so
it pretty
close.
bad, yeah.
They were so close, and then they fucking threw it away.
Yeah, they fucked it up for sure.
Even the Wizards really hit it out of the park with something that I think is a net positive for Magic, while also somehow fucking it up.
Do you know how expensive that would have been? I'm actually kind of glad it wasn't walking ballista.
Yeah, because that would be like a new car.
I don't know about that, but...
it would be very expensive, though. That would probably be like $100 walking ballista.
I don't even know that high, but it'd have been expensive.
Like, imagine if the walking ballista was a like Invocation or Masterpiece.
No, that's fair. I guess it would.
I feel like that would be like
in
$150
that ballpark.
walking ballista. This is going to be just like a buy a box promo. Is essentially what it is.
Yeah, so there's not going to be a shitload of them out in the wild.
Exactly. But I mean, this is a cool thing that they're doing for LGSs, because, as we all know, LGSs right now are kind of struggling.
They're getting fucking murdered.
Yeah, they're getting murked. But Wizards doing something like this to be like, okay, we get it. Life is shit. Let's help you out. Let's help out the brick and mortars that are the reason why we exist.
It fucking helps Wizards out too. That's going to sell boxes.
It is.
The Reliquary Tower is more to help, because it's like, hey, you buy anything here, you get this. But you buy a box or product, you get this.
Which is also a weird reason why they didn't make it Walking Ballista, because I feel like Walking Ballista is a much more sought after card than Hangerback.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Ballista's insane in almost every format it's legal in.
Yeah, there's at least one deck that generally plays it.
They're just like, no, let's make something with guns. Hangerback Walker. It's going to make flop.
They could have done it. I don't know why. There might have been something for that, like price point wise. I don't know. I don't think that they really care about that.
Here, Matt, I don't know if you thought about this, though. What if, and follow me here.
Pause real fucking quick.
Okay.
I just opened two pack Starburst. You know what I mean? Like the Halloween candy. Like
yeah. Did you get 2 pink ones?
I got 4 pink ones.
Yo! Okay.
I'm going to shut your mouth. I'm going to play the lottery.
I would say, go to the gas station, buy a lottery ticket. You are going to win all the money.
I'm sending you a picture just because I feel like people won't believe it.
I'm going to tweet.
Guess what?
I love that this happened live.
Exist.
They do exist.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There is a God. He favors me this day.
The Starburst God is smiling down upon you. Holy shit, you really did open 4 of them.
I told you, dude. It's like...
Pretty impressive.
There's the wrappers too. Like you
I
probably
am genuinely impressed by this.
probably heard me fiddling with the wrapper.
I did. Matt, I was in a middle of a literal fucking perfect segue into talking about double stuff Oreo Masters, and you totally disrailed it.
That's my 2020.
But I'm
my
okay.
year 2 resolution.
Is to continue to disrail me.
Fucking disrail you left and right, bud.
Well, that was mission accomplished, champ.
That was worth
it. It was. Yeah, and I was gonna say I'm mad about it. Can't be.
War pinks. That's like
jealous? Yes. Mad.
Okay, continue with your now broken transition.
Yeah, we're moving away from. I think what I was gonna do is I was gonna tie in the fact that they did a walking ballista in that thing, and like, oh well, maybe they're saving their reprint for hangerback or for walking ballista for double stuffed Oreo Masters.
Yeah, what's the deal with like the double masters or whatever? What is that? Like, where did that come from?
Let me explain what double stuffed Oreo Masters is. So Wizards is doing another master set, much like Masters 25, Eternal Masters, Modern Masters 2 Electric Boogaloo, Modern Masters 3. All like it's one of those deals, right? And how when you opened up those packs, each pack had a rare and then a foil. Well, in double stuffed Oreo Masters, you get double the rare and double the foil. So there's going to be 2 rares in each pack and 2 foils in each pack.
That's like doing a line of cocaine and shotgunning 2 energy drinks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So there is a chance.
They took that balls to the walls.
Albeit very small, there is a chance you can open up a booster pack and receive 4 rares. Because the foils can also be rares.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Because originally in like the Modern Masters, you were stoked if you opened up the pack that had rare, foil rare. Now with double stuffed Oreo Masters, you can do both. You can have that same feeling twice at the same time.
Doubled.
Yeah, I would say doubled would be a good word for it. Yeah.
So the fucking Blightsteel Colossus, amazing. I'm for sure gonna buy one of those. I generally hate like the box topper arts and stuff like that. But that art, it's the same like machine as Blightsteel,
but like, just more animated.
But more animated, and he's like fucking up some dudes.
Yeah, he's smashing.
Or excuse me, it is fucking up some dudes.
Appreciate that. Yeah, so to announce double stuffed Oreo Masters, they did a double announcement. And if you actually go on the Wizards website, there is actually 2 announcements. One of them says announcing double Masters. And then it says also announcing double Masters is the very next thing. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But they announced it by releasing some neat cards. I am very, very happy with the cards that they've released so far, too.
Yeah, they released 3 of them so far.
4.
Right? All right, let's go through them. Because, spoiler, Blightsteel.
Yeah, so Blightsteel Colossus?
Someone posted that in Discord. I don't remember who, but someone
posted. The Blightsteel? I did.
Yeah, so that's in there if you want to go check it out.
Yeah, join our Discord.
Oh, there's 5 cards.
Oh, did they do 5? Yes, they did.
They did 5.
Yep, 100%. You're right. So there's 5 cards that they're spoiled for that are going to be in double stuff Oreo Masters.
So Kung Fu Colossus is number 1.
Kung Fu, yeah, Blightsteel Colossus, which if you don't know what Blightsteel is,
Colossus.
It is a 12/12.
No,
or is it 11/11 for 12 mana. It is an artifact creature, and it has Trample, Infect, and Indestructible.
Correct. And
if Blightsteel Colossus would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it, and you shuffle it into its owner's library instead.
For my own benefit, this is a replacement effect, or it's not a replacement effect. It never actually goes to the graveyard.
Yeah, it is the replacement. Yeah, it's not a replacement effect, so it just does never exist.
Yes, correct. Not like Emrakul that actually goes to the graveyard and then shuffles. Just for a little tidbit for everyone. Judge's Corner. All right, continue.
Oh, the second one I think we're going to talk about is the doubling season that they announced. Finally, doubling season is getting another reprint, because even after the first reprint, this card is still $1,000.
Yeah, it's like $50-$60,
which is insane. But yeah, doubling
this
season
one is
probably the best
adorable.
enchantment in Commander.
Probably because Fast Bond is banned, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 2 little baby dragon dinosaur things, and they're a little adorable shit.
But yeah, doubling season. The art on the showcase one, phenomenal. And also the art on the one they're actually printing in the set is like the dragon one that's like all spiraled around. I love that one is dragons, and then the other one is also dragons. That's kind of a theme that it's the same character just in a different light.
It's dragons.
I love
all the dragons.
And doubling season is just an insane card. Like, come on now.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
The next one that I saw that they spoiled was an artifact, another artifact, and again is a gazillion dollars, and the showcase one is probably going to also be a gazillion dollars. It's Mana Crypt.
Yes. Do you know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminds me of like old school Mana Vault.
I was just thinking that. You were 100% right.
Because it
has
looks
that
like
same,
that's
like,
where it came out of.
Kind of
With
like
the chains
art style.
and the yep.
Yep.
Good. I'm not the only one who thought of that.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's like people climbing up it, and it's like blasting them with energy or something.
Yeah,
This needed a reprint though, because these are even like the real shitty like Eternal Masters ones are like $200, right?
Yeah, they're very, very expensive. Well, the art for this one's going to be the same. And this also just saw a recent reprint in the mystery boosters.
Yeah, so these
And that changed the price.
Well, these are
really
like
not at all.
super popular in Commander, right?
Oh, Mana Crypt, it's probably the second most popular mana artifact behind Soul.
That's what I thought, and that's why it's so expensive. Because the only other format it's legal in, 2 formats, is Cube and Vintage. So,
yep.
If this would be banned in Commander, I would almost guarantee the price would drop drastically.
Yeah, it would tank. Well, speaking of Commander too, we got 2 of the two Commander All-Stars. These both were precons, right? We got one is Kalia of the Vast, and the other one is Atraxa.
Yeah, Kalia, not Thalia.
If it was Thalia, oh my god.
The new art for Kalia, not impressed. The older art is, in my opinion.
Oh, see, I really, really enjoy that new art.
Yeah, not my style. I like the sassy looking bish who's like, I'm about to fuck your day.
And Kali's just such an incredible card too.
Oh, super fucking powerful.
Yeah, card's just disgusting.
Yeah, so that's exciting. That should hopefully drop the price of that because those are expensive, aren't they?
I'm not entirely sure, but that's another thing that's only like a Commander crowd pleaser. And I believe this is the first time it's ever showing up in packs.
Yeah, I guess so. It was just the Commander set, huh?
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Atraxa too. Atraxa's another one of the pre-con commanders that we just you can't get it in a pack. You can only get it in the pre-con, and because of that reason, the card is like $40.
Yeah, so hopefully this will drop it down a tad.
I assume it would drop the price. And I just looked it up. The Kalia that came in the Commander, the original Commander version of it, is $30, and that's the cheapest one. Because again, you can't get it in packs.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So good. I'm glad that'll be cheaper for folks to buy.
Yeah, I mean, because that was just a huge barrier. That's always going to be a huge barrier to entry if you want that deck. Is just like affording the Commander is something. And if you weren't lucky enough to snag it in one of its other
when it first came
forms, yeah, then you're just like shit out of luck. Hopefully that drops the price. And like that's the same thing with Mana Crypt too. Like if you ever wanted to put a Mana Crypt in one of your Commander decks, if you're like have a substantial amount of income to throw at it, or at least save up for a while, you don't have that Mana Crypt. Like $200 is a lot of money for just a one card in your 100 card deck.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like I have a very tuned Commander deck. If I would buy a Mana Crypt to put in it, it would like double the price of that Commander deck.
You think?
Yeah, for my Simic deck for Crewfix, that deck is probably around $250.
Oh Jesus, that's nothing.
Yeah, throwing and it's because the deck is competitive and the deck is good, but I also don't like playing like the essential optimized cards for Simic because I think that just makes the format boring. But that's just me.
Whatever floats your boat, kid.
But it's cool that people who want Mana Crypt, they can get their hand on it. My ass doesn't even like playing Soul Ring and that shit, so.
I only own a Mana Crypt because it's vintage, so.
That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think, Matt, what are your overall feelings towards Double Stuffed Oreo Masters?
Starting off fucking strong.
They really did blow the doors off out the gate, didn't they?
They started off real strong.
Yeah, holy shit.
Do people play Blightsteel in Commander?
Yes. Yeah, they do.
In the wild?
Yeah, mean people do. Like if you're just a very mean-spirited person, yeah, you could totally play that card.
I have 2 regular ones and a foil one. I just need a 4th for
no what?
reason.
Where are you ever playing a playset of that card?
I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
I love it.
Legacy Mud with Metal Worker and Instill Energy. Boom, figured it out.
Love that. But as far as Double Stuff Oreo Masters goes, I am interested not so much about the card quality in it, because there's obviously going to be disgusting reprints in this. At this point in my life, unless they make Death and Taxes good again in Legacy, I really don't give a fucking single solitary fuck about Constructed Magic outside of Commander.
Telling you, dude, you ought to hop on my train.
The pre-modern and old school, but I mean, the stuff that they print in this are not going to affect pre-modern and old school.
No, obviously not. They could print some like Painlands or something.
No, that's true. They could.
You could play those. You could play.
But ideally, I would want to play the old
Brasses.
art of those things. I'm more worried about the
Mm.
limited of double stuff Oreo Masters. Like having
It'll get wild.
2 rares in your pack means at best you're passing your opponent at that draft table at least 1 rare, and you're getting passed to you at least 1 rare.
I think you draft that format to money draft. I don't think you draft that format to play.
Well, that depends on how many packs are on the line, right? And if you're doing phantom drafts online, which I will probably do a ton of, because that's what I did with almost every single previous Masters format. I just do phantom drafts online to get an idea of how the draft format is. And then when I go to an LGS and draft it, sure, you get those 3 packs. And if you open something that pays for your draft, you take it. But if it's something that's fine versus something that you know is good in that format, I'd rather just take good cards, win the draft, and then win more packs than what I would have got out of that 1 card that I passed.
That's fair.
But with this format, that's a different story. Double Stuff Oreo Masters gives you double the rares and double the Oreo Masters.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Also, if people don't
gets
start
all
calling
up
it
in
Double
there.
Stuff Oreo Masters, I'm going to be so bummed.
A little bit upset, huh?
Yeah, because I can't call it anything else. That's just its name.
That's its name now. Figure it out.
I mean, can you think of a worse name in Magic's history besides Double Masters?
No,
That is an all-time bad name.
it really is. That one's pretty bad.
Has Wizards ever done a worse name than that?
I don't think so. I really don't think they have.
Like, it is easily 10 out of 10 worst name Wizards has ever thought of ever.
Yeah, I would for sure be in that camp with you because it is pretty bad. But
Like-
yeah, they started off strong. They always do that. They start off strong. They simmer down a bit. And then they're like, oh, you forgot about this. And fucking hit you with it.
Yeah, and that's when they're going to put dual lands, the original duels, and they're going to abolish the reserve list in
One
double
fell
stuff.
swoop. Yeah. Here's Dual Land, City of Traders, Survival of the Fittest.
Oh my god, if they reprinted City of Traders,
It's on the reserve list.
saying if they did do the thing that made
People would lose their fucking
I would-
minds.
cream my pants, I'd be so stoked.
Yeah, don't need to pay $180 for a subpar Soul Land.
Yeah, like I have the Ancient Tombs.
Yeah, I bought Ancient Tombs a while back, and for no other reason than I found a
They
pair
will go
or a
up.
set of them. No, because those aren't on the.
No, and they've been reprinted.
Yeah, I just like the old art, so
Well, I just like the old art stuff, man.
that's exactly how I said that. Even
Yeah, I know. Well, Matt, I think we covered just about everything that happened in the world of Magic the Gathering this week.
took a bit, but we got there.
Do you want to maybe get to the part that we were both excited about?
Yes,
We
I
got-
do.
We got the business out. Now it's time for the pleasure. And that is, we're going to answer some questions from the viewers for our 1-year anniversary episode.
Yeah, I was excited about this. I was really hoping
too
it was
big.
last week. Fucking Buzzkill Tyler said no. It's the week after.
Well, I mean, I think waiting for it also gave us some more questions, like some better questions that we wouldn't have got if we would have done it immediately. So the wait was well worth it.
Maybe not sold yet.
I'm sure for the people who are curious if they even made it this far. After we're done, that's when we will announce the winner of all of the giveaways, like the Commander deck and the playmat, and maybe even a secret mystery giveaway.
Yeah, and those are all going to be random. We just wanted to answer these questions because some of them look really good.
Yeah, we just love answering questions. Now, Matt, I got the question list. I want to start off with something, nice little warm up question, and this one's by Ethan Newman. He asked us, if you could be any flavor of Pop-Tart, which would you be?
S'mores.
Oh, s'mores is your pick. You had that
Boy.
locked and loaded too. Like you've
Boy.
been waiting to answer.
I'm
this question
already a
for your entire
snack,
life.
so those are my favorite. That's why I'd want to.
See, my favorite is the chocolate fudge sundae.
Those are also good. That's diabetes, but
I shit you not. Every single day from like middle school, like 6th grade to graduating high school, every single morning I had a pack of fudge, hot fudge sundae, Pop-Tarts, and a room temperature Mountain Dew every single day.
That's the most trailer trash thing.
Oh yeah, I was literally
ever
making it was like people would see me going to school and it's either like that kid is going to school or he's going to there's only 2 options.
It's such a shame that you had all your.
Right? because I would have really looked like a meth lab. Like I just been going to cook all day.
That's super funny.
Yeah, and then I exchanged that diet of Pop-Tarts and Mountain Dew. When I went to college, I just started smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee in the morning.
Yep.
Just black coffee, 2 cigarettes, and then I quit cigarettes. So now I just have a frown and a cup of black coffee in the morning. That's it.
Sadness behind your eyes.
1,000-yard stare and a cup of black coffee, and that's my breakfast every morning. That was a good leading question. The next question is one that I know you are particularly excited about answering. It is Stephen Kaiser. He wanted to know, when will the slivers re-emerge?
Not soon enough.
That is an answer that I expected.
The best I've thought we've had this conversation time and time again. I think the best thing ever is the Gatewatch gets like the Gatewatch isn't really a thing anymore, is it?
Well, I mean, they can bring it back.
There's some distress call or something that someone goes to answer, or they go to into a new plane, like some character.
Yeah, somebody flashes like the bat signal on like Kaladesh or something.
Yeah, and it's
and
just
like,
getting
go check it out.
overrun. Yeah, like that's a perfect. Or like they go back to what plane were they most recently on?
Is Dominaria.
Slivers?
Or not Dominaria. It was old because originally that they were on like one of those original planes, right? The last time we saw them was a Corset. And I don't think the Corset have a definitive plane that they're on because they don't have like a storyline that they follow.
I don't know, but it was like Yawgmoth who was trying to control them.
I think that's a Dominaria thing then.
Well, they fucked up. But they're going to go to a new plane and they're going to be like, where the fuck is everyone? Or go back to a plane that they were at. Like it's completely changed and it's just like slivers are running shit.
Yeah, or it's like wherever like Koilos is, like wherever the shock lands are coming from, or not the shock lands, the pain lands, wherever the pain lands hail from, that plane, that is where I believe the slivers are currently located. But I mean, honestly, you could take the slivers and transport them anywhere and then just feed us some bullshit storyline about like, oh, this villain planeswalker decided to open up the planar portal to fuck all nowhere and took the slivers to fuck all nowhere, and now the Gatewatch versus this thing in the slivers in fuck all nowhere. That's fuck all nowhere the set. And then 3 years from now we'll have Return to Fuck All Nowhere, and like 4 more years after that it'll be Return to Fuck All Nowhere. And
I think it's going to be someone tries to get like the brood, like Sliver Queen, Brood Mother, like the alpha mom Sliver, and try to like breed their own slivers to control them, and they're just obviously not going to be able to if you're going to go the villain route.
I kind of like that. Or do a planeswalker that I want to kill off entirely. Like, well, Teferi's a good guy, so you can't do Teferi. Or maybe, think about this, Teferi is doing some time travel stuff, goes back and sees a sliver, and the sliver attacks him. He tries to time warp back to the future
and brings it with him
in his DeLorean. And he's in the driver's seat of the DeLorean, right? But the sliver somehow gets in the passenger seat, and when they're time traveling at 86 miles per hour, they just hit it, go back to the future. Sliver, passenger seat. Sliver has a skateboard, also has a guitar.
You ruined it, you fucking cunt.
And then
that's what I think is going to happen. I'm done listening to your bullshit.
And it turns out Teferi is actually his own grandfather.
La 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 la. You want me to do that the whole time you talk? Because I will.
That is what's going to happen. So now we figured out what's going to happen with the slivers.
You're a dumb bitch and I hate you.
Okay, maybe we will move from that to another question. Those were some nice warm-up questions. I thought that were going to get us eased into this. We had another question by Adam. He wanted to know what our origin stories for Magic were. And
we went over that in the first episode or second episode.
Yeah, do I have a episode of the Fetch and Shock? Or Adam. I was talking to you, but I was trying to address Adam to answer his question. If he really is like a masochist and really wants to sit through a stellar piece of Magic content, you should go back to the first episode of the Fetch and Shock podcast, where we cover that entire thing at length while also drinking too much and yelling over each other. It is something to behold.
It's terrible. Don't do it.
I mean, it's entertaining at points that you can understand.
Yeah, at points.
So yeah, if you're very interested in hearing how me and Matt, 1, started playing Magic, and 2, started playing Magic with each other, and 3, starting this podcast, episode 1, I believe it's called An Origin Story. That's a good place.
I think so.
Here's a good one. It's from our buddy Dirk on Twitter. He asked, what is our thoughts on the future of paper Magic, such as GPs and the like?
I think they'll make a comeback. It just once this shit's done.
I guess you have to consider the context of the question too. If we're asking the question, what is the future of GPs in like late 2020, 2021? Yeah, they'll be there. They're eventually gonna come back. If he's asking like grand scheme, what is the future? Like the far off future? I don't have the highest hope for the life expectancy of large paper tournaments.
See, I do, because then Wizards doesn't make nearly as much money if it's all online.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, if we're talking about large paper tournaments, probably not. I can see them turning like the GP thing into how they turned it into the Magic Fest thing. I could see that turning into a weekend by weekend traveling Magic circus. That it's just a traveling convention that goes from city to city, and you're gonna have like a large main event that's like pseudo GP, but there's just gonna be less and less people playing GPs because I think they're gonna start dropping the price or the payout for those things to shift payout for the pro leagues.
Maybe for the GP stuff, but SCG, they still have massive tournament.
Yeah, I think it's going to shift away from like hyper affiliated with Wizard stuff to you have SCG taking care of like the East Coast because that's what they do already. There will be something else, probably Chain or Fireball maybe, that goes and takes care of the West Coast. And then I think you're going to see a big resurgence in like smaller individually run events, kind of like how Jeremy from Missouri MTG does his 10Ks.
Yeah, with just tournament organizers that aren't massive stores.
Yeah, just small TOs. Just running like high quality, small tournaments that have great payout.
I could see that. I could see that.
Especially for the formats that you and I are into, like Vintage, Legacy, you with Old School and Pre-Modern. Like all the Eternal formats, I think Modern is eventually going to slot into that as well, where the best tournaments are going to be run by people who have little to no affiliation with actual Wizards of the Coast.
But a passion for that form.
Yeah, but just love.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the future.
I can see that.
This was a cool question, I thought. Was interesting because it just mentioned Oko, but I think this is a larger conversation. If Planeswalkers are allowed to be commanders, should Oko be banned? And that is from Cade on Twitter. Matt, what are your thoughts on Planeswalkers as commanders, first of all?
I don't see why they're not, why they can't be. I think they should be.
Huh.
Oko, on the other hand, has a bit answers every other Planeswalker, and he comes down super early.
Well, the thing is,
every other creature.
Yeah, you're right. The thing is, too, there are some Planeswalkers that are allowed as commanders.
Yeah, it says this can be your commander.
Exactly. I, however, don't think that, in general, Planeswalkers should be commanders.
Why?
I think the ones that are designed to be commanders are fine, but there are so many ways to make other Planeswalkers that were not designed to be a commander just so miserable. Like, I feel like there is a very small positive to a very large negative that could be gained by making Planeswalkers commanders.
So I think it's the other way around. Like, yeah, some of them are shitty, like a mono blue Narset deck would be miserable.
I just think there are going to be more of those decks that people are going to be playing Karns or 3-mana Teferi or Narset or something like that. There's going to be a significantly larger amount of those decks floating around than the red-green werewolf being your commander, or just the random 5-mana Obnixilis being your commander or something. There's just so many more people who are going to abuse that than use it for a positive, like fun, actually interactive thing, that those cards are catered just fine as one of your 99 cards. Being your commander is such a more shitty thing to do. Of course, Oko should be banned, but there's also like probably 10 other commanders or Planeswalkers that should just be banned along with Oko.
That's fine. Do that. Because there are many that would be super fun.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I just think there is a larger number of playable commanders that are like just miserable than ones that are fun.
Yeah, ban those shitty ones.
That's a lot of work for people who are not WotC employees, though. We're going to be honest.
Not really. They do it anyway.
I think talking about commander cards, like as commanders, versus the can of worms that gets opened when you talk about planeswalkers, I think that makes it a bit more difficult. Because, I mean, you can also admit that planeswalkers, especially recently, are some of the most powerful cards I've ever printed.
Absolutely, they are.
Well, just think about
in their respective formats.
Yeah, well,
look at Narset. Narset's probably arguably one of the best, besides like one of the most worst planeswalkers to play against. Yet it only sees play in like 2 formats.
Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing: you take those cards that are legal in Commander, and then all at once open the floodgates and let them be legal as your commander. The format just completely gets turned on its head in, I think, a very, very negative way. I think that's awful for the format.
Only one way to find out.
Or consider.
I don't have a problem with it. If I'm playing Commander with someone, and they're like, "Hey, I have a Planeswalker as my commander. Do you care?" Nope. Don't give a fuck. Have fun.
Well, that goes along with also like I don't want to play Commander with people who are playing like competitive EDH.
Exactly. So it's up to the people. Let them do whatever they want. You're not playing Commander to win money, and if you are, you're playing competitive EDH, and you want to be degenerate as possible. Let them be degenerate as possible.
Sure, if the scumbags want to be scumbags, they can be scumbags. I'm fine with that. But in that case, just let Oko be legal. Fuck, unban Iona. Then just let that happen.
Go for it. I don't give a shit.
I think that we just don't want any of that. There has to be a balance between like the sanctity of the format and then also appeasing to the competitive crowd.
That's mine. Yep, let them be. That's fine with me.
We'll stop that conversation for now. We'll move on to the next one. The next one is from David Schultz. He asked, "What is your favorite deck?"
So I'll let you go first.
Well, my favorite deck is pretty obvious.
Death and Taxes. Yeah, we get it.
It's Legacy Death and Taxes. I have a brand to uphold. Yeah, Legacy Death and Taxes has always been my favorite deck for as long as I've been playing Legacy, which has been for a very long time at this point. Yeah, just super fun deck. Really like playing Wastelands and playing Rashawn Ports and playing Thalias and playing Mother of Brunes and playing Stoneforge Mystics. I like all of those things.
Can you guess my favorite deck?
Your favorite deck is Oath
of Druids, yes, followed by Birthing Pod deck.
Yeah, followed by Birthing Pod. I would say your favorite card is Birthing Pod. Your favorite deck is Oath.
Yeah, that's fair. Although that's close because Oath of Druids is the OG Birthing Pod, if you will.
You're right. Yeah, we are very old souls when it comes to our favorite decks.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite standard deck or anything like that.
I'm sure if I was really forced, like gun to my head, I could think of my favorite standard deck of all time. It would probably have been like the Theros Return to Ravnica standard. Like that blue-white control deck was really, really fucking brutal. That the win condition was just like your opponent falling asleep and you casting the Elixir of Immortality and shuffling your library back into your deck, or your graveyard back into your deck.
I'm a big fan of those control decks.
Yeah, that was a miserable deck, but it was super fun. I also like the devotion decks in that standard too. And in the previous standard, like the Bant Hexproof deck was super fun. But yeah, those are our favorite decks of all time. That was a really good question. Here, this is another one. Instead of favorite decks, Chemsburger wants to know, out of all of the formats, what is the best format for you and why? So I took that's asking you, Matt, what is your favorite format?
Vintage, for sure. Absolutely vintage. I love playing powerful spells. I love playing with old cards that I've collected over the years and some more recent collections or purchases to really be able to play vintage. But definitely vintage, because you and I could have 70 or out of the main deck like 55 cards that are the exact same, and those 5 different cards could change the deck wildly.
Yeah, for sure they could. Yeah, vintage is super fun. I am not as big of a fan of vintage as you are, mostly because I don't own any of those cards. The only vintage I've ever played is online. If I had to choose a format that I thought was the number one best format, I don't know if I could do that. I have 3 in mind that...
Like Commander and Limited.
Commander, Limited, and Legacy. Those are the 3. And I love them all for different reasons. First of all, Limited, if we were going to really boil it down, it's Cube.
Yeah.
Cube is the best format. If I had to pick one, gun to my head, Cube is the best format, not close.
Yeah, Cube's a close second to Vintage pretty much the same reason.
Just the infinite playability of Cube. Like you can sit down and just draft a Cube 1,000 times and it's never the same. And you can have a blast every single time, even though it's different. Love that about it. Legacy, just because how Matt said he liked collecting the cards over a period of time. He likes the decks in the format. I really love Death and Taxes, and I love that strategy. And it just turns out that I get to play that strategy, and it is for the most part very playable in Legacy, so that's why I love Legacy so much. And then Commander, I've recently had this like love affair with Commander where I realized, oh, I don't have to give a fuck about winning a game. I just get to worry about having fun with my friends. And Commander is that entire mentality in a Magic format, and that is what makes Commander. That was a really good question.
Good question.
Here's another question, which I know you have an answer locked and loaded for this because you're like, we need to answer this question. It is actually from Dennis, Canadian MTG. He wanted to know, if you had an unlimited budget, what deck would you build? I cannot wait to hear your.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, see, this is a pretty corny and like shitty answer because I really couldn't think of something for this. If I had an unlimited budget, like I would probably just build like a Commander deck with a bunch of like all of my favorite cards, just like a 5-color Commander deck with all of my favorite cards that I've ever loved in my entire life. And then just have that pile of like expensive cards that I don't have to worry about ever purchasing that I got to play in like Cube and like on Magic Online and stuff that I never considered buying in paper. And then just have that deck. And then if I need to like take a card out of it, I guess I could. But I feel like that's kind of cheating with this question, right?
I think so.
I'm actually just building Death and Tax, but just another version of it. So I can also whiteboarder it and then give the whiteboarder deck away to somebody else. So there are multiple people with an entirely whiteboarded Death and Taxes out in the world. That's what I'm doing.
Do you try to hurt me?
Yes, I do. I just wish you loved whiteboarder cards, man. That's the only thing I wanted. All right, what is your answer?
Have you ever heard of the format called Alpha 40?
Oh, God. You were such a cheap bitch.
So Alpha 40, you have to have four different cards in your deck. You can have as many copies as you want, but there's no limit to the amount you can have in
It's like
the
the
deck.
truest form of Magic.
Yes,
It's
it
just
is
Magic
like
with no rules.
pretty much. So it's called the Turn 1 deck, and it wins Turn 1 pretty much constantly.
Yeah,
There's
an
a couple times.
astoundingly large amount of times.
So it is 10. These are all alpha cards, by the way. 10 Mox Sapphire, 12 Ancestral Recall, 4 Black Lotus, 1 Blue Land. Generally, doesn't matter, but Underground Sea or Tundra are the way to go.
Basic Island.
Or you could do a Basic Island, yes. 4 Time Twister, 6 Time Walk, and you want to guess what the win condition is.
Isn't it something stupid?
2 Black Vice.
That's Black Vice. There you go.
So the idea of the deck is you literally just draw cards and keep cycling until you get your Black Vices in play. And then you target them with Ancestral Recall 3 times. So during their upkeep, because you can't mulligan, there's no mulligans in this format. So they will end up having 9 additional cards in their upkeep. So you kill them. Black Vice kills them in their upkeep.
Yeah, because of course it does.
And that is my dream unlimited budget deck.
You're such a dirty fuck. That was such a cheat answer.
We could do the beta 40 or unlimited 40 and I'd still pick this.
You crazy. I love that though. That's okay. That's actually a really good thought out answer. Dennis also had another question for us. And it was because I think like a couple weeks ago, we were talking shit about him wanting to give Ulamog some ability counters. And he wanted to ask us what our problem is with giving Ulamog more abilities.
Dennis, I will cut you.
And I was like, that's not even a real question, is it? Ulamog is already just too good, man. Just stop.
Too powerful.
Just too good.
Yeah, mainly it doesn't need any extra abilities.
It's just already insane.
And the Ulamog he's referring to is Ceaseless Hunger, right?
That is correct.
Exiling 2 things upon cast, and then exiling 20 cards off the top
That is correct.
whenever it attacks.
Yeah.
And indestructible.
Yeah, the card just really has enough text on it, I think, already. It
doesn't need any more help.
Yeah.
If you're going to give it anything, give it Band-Aid.
Or cumulative upkeep.
Yeah.
Can we
make it?
Okay. You know what, Dennis? I agree with you. It does need more text. It should have cumulative upkeep, and it should have phasing.
Oh, phases out.
Yep. Oh, I'm glad us 3, you, me, and Dennis, we could all come to an agreement that we're right.
Yeah.
Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger does need more text. Oh, you know what else it could use? Defender. Defender would be a great mechanic to put on Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger.
That's fantastic.
I can't believe I just had such a large change of heart. I am more than willing to give Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger so
Defender.
much more text.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Fair. That's good.
Now, Matt, this is the next question. Not necessarily a Magic question, but I really liked it. It was from Kevin Flagg. He said, "What is your favorite podcast? Does not have to be MTG related."
So my favorite non-MTG podcast is probably many people's favorite podcast, and that's the Joe Rogan Experience.
You are a big Joe Rogan fan.
I love his podcast. I love his guests are so cool.
He is a very good interviewer.
Yeah, he's been doing it since ever. He's
Who would
the
have
one
thought?
who really
The Fear Factor guy.
Yeah, he is the most popular podcast, and he actually just signed a deal with Spotify.
I saw that.
$100 million, and I'm sure there's clauses in there where he can just say, I'm running it. You're not going to do anything. You can just support have it exclusive rights to their, and I'm sure he'll still put them on YouTube and stuff.
That is so much freaking money. Oh my God.
Yeah, and he didn't really need it, but.
How about any other non-Magic podcasts? You have any favorites?
Jocko's podcast.
What is that about?
Jocko's an ex-Navy SEAL.
Oh, he seems like that'd be a very intense podcast.
He's a very, very smart dude, and he talks about a bunch of different shit, not just like his time in there, but he has like some pretty interesting guests and
Neat
stuff like that on there.
I think we are not allowed to shout out MTG podcast with this one.
Yeah, we shout out enough MTG folks.
Yeah, we have to save our MTG podcast shout outs for other things. Do you have any more? Or do you just want to, we'll stick with 2.
Yeah, 2 is fine because I have several that
we could go on for a long time with this. I'll stick with just 2. My first one is a podcast that I listen to on like longer drives that I really enjoy. It is called Hello from the Magic Tavern, and it is a comedy podcast based around the concept of this guy like falling into a magic portal and going into another world, and he just walks into this like magical world. He walks into this pub and he sits down at a table with a wizard and a shapeshifter, and they just do a podcast.
Oh Jesus.
It is so just like off the wall and ridiculous. And like every episode they interview some other person from this magical world. It is incredibly entertaining. It's very well written, and the actors in it are phenomenal. Yeah, I highly recommend Hello from the Magic Tavern. Another podcast I listen to is it's called The 9 Club, and it is a podcast about skateboarding.
Playing skateboard, yeah.
Run by professional skateboarders. So I feel like it's not very... if you skateboard, you probably know about it, and if you don't skateboard, you probably have no interest in it. But I really thoroughly enjoy that podcast, and I listen to it probably every week. They just interview people in the skateboarding industry, and all of them are usually very, very entertaining. So those are my 2 non-Magic podcast recommendations.
Yeah, there's a lot of good podcasts out there. Just go listen to some shit.
Yeah, including the Fetch and Shock podcast. I would say that's one of the top ones.
Nah.
All right, Matt, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, bring it on.
Our next question, we might have the same answer with this one. Max wants to know what our favorite land cycle is.
Mine is the...
Wait, hold on. We'll just do it. I'm gonna count to 3. We say it at the end of that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Scrylands.
Tolarian cycles, like those, like Tolarian Academy, Sarah Sanctum,
you think
Gaia's
those
Cradle.
are the best ones?
Absolutely.
Oh, see, I'm still picking Scrylands, man.
Scrylands are the most balanced for sure.
I think those are the best ones.
No. You really think those are better than Tolarian Academy?
I guess we're
Sarah
talking about
Sanctum, Gaia's Cradle.
Talking about favorite land cycle.
Oh yeah, those are still mine.
Unfortunately, Wasteland is not a cycle. It's just one card that exists.
I guess my cycle's been broken up over sets. There's not really a red one.
No. I mean, I'll still give it to you. Because there is like the Sarah Sanctum, Gaia's Cradle, Academy thing.
And you could either say Urborg, Tomb of
I would say
Yawgmoth,
Cabal Coffers.
or Cabal Coffers that I was getting.
Is the red one just like Valakut?
It's probably the closest thing they have.
But Valakut is also part of a cycle, isn't it? With like Amari the Sky Ruin and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I guess you could.
That is a cycle.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I just like the Scrylands because they're balanced. I think they're good in the formats that they're good in. If we're talking about like a cycle that I normally play, it's super boring, but I'm going to have to say like the Shocklands. The Shocklands are just very good.
The fixed dual lands.
Yeah. Like they're good in Modern. You can still see them played. Like they're great in Cube. They're a great budget alternative to duels. I mean, quote unquote budget. Like that's that term is just 100% subjective.
Well, it's either paying $500 for an underground sea
or like $10.
Yeah, $10-15 for watery grave.
But I really do love the Scryland.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And shout out to Original Theros, one of the greatest sets of all time. Our next question is from Kevin Bagley. He wants to know, do you think companions would be more accepted if they had cumulative upkeep?
Depends what it was.
And my thought about this is...
And there's two different... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's a question. Like, that is a loaded question, because there are some companions that the cumulative upkeep wouldn't matter.
Well, like, that's where my point was.
Yeah,
is
zero.
Is the cumulative upkeep even in the companion zone, or is it only in play?
Oh, I feel like it couldn't be in the companion zone, right? Because
why not? They fucking made companion.
Huh. Interesting. Because, like, again, like Zirda doesn't matter. Garuda doesn't matter. Like those
you
cards
easily start if it's the cumulative upkeep starts on your second turn.
How about like cumulative upkeep would start anytime that you would have the mana to cast your companion?
No, I think it would just be like starting on, and some of them would obviously have to be more of a cost rather than like, okay, pay 1 life or...
Yeah, what if the cumulative upkeep was pay 1 life?
That's nothing. That's literally nothing. Look at Luris.
But if it was on your... but if it was in the companion zone, so like your turn 2, you paid 1 life. Your turn 3, you paid 2 life. Your turn 4, you paid 3 life.
Yeah, sometimes I don't think that would matter. With some of them. Like Luris, I don't think...
I mean, that would at least give a really good counterplay to that deck where you just like have to kick the shit out of them. That
just makes Death Shadow fucking ridiculous. So much better.
Yeah, I mean, sure. That would be something that exists.
But like you could do that with a different one. Like the 4 mana 4/5 one. You could do that there because you're going to be ramping creatures faster or whatever. Like yeah, I was thinking, it's like cumulative upkeep, or during your upkeep, exile a card for me, or
that would be gnarly.
Yeah, or sacrifice a permanent. Like there's a bunch you do. Like you could literally do whatever you wanted, obviously.
Oh my god, there's 1,000 effects in the game that you could probably put at some kind of cost.
I think it would be more fair and more acceptable that, hey, this doesn't just sit here, and if you happen to need to play it, you can. If not, it's really going to fuck you up. You need to either get what you're doing. Like I could be wrong, but I feel like Loris would be more balanced if it's like during your end step, or at the beginning of your upkeep, or after your draw step, something like that. Exile a card from.
Well, I mean, this conversation just really boils down to what cost is having that extra card in your hand? At what point is the cost too much, making it not worth it? And at what cost is it just too good and makes it just insane? And I think we can obviously say that no cost is obviously too good. But at what point is the cost too much for it to not be a thing? And I don't know if there is a finite line where you can say it hits a balance point. I think it's either teetering to the one side where it's unplayable, or teetering to the other side where it's too good.
Yeah, there's obviously a spectrum. Like there should be something, though. That's actually a pretty good idea of just saying, okay, you want a companion. You either need to do something, or like I think Luris would be a lot better if it's like, as long as this is in exile, or as long as it's in the companion zone, when something goes to your graveyard, exile it instead.
Oh, that's insanely good. That's a brilliant.
Yeah,
but that's super good.
If it's in play, that doesn't matter. Like that effect is null. It's like if this is in the companion zone, if a card were to go to your graveyard, exile it.
Yeah, like if you reveal Luris from outside the game, for as long as Luris is revealed from outside the game, if a card would enter your graveyard, put it into
the exile.
Or put it into exile instead. But then even with that, like that just makes Helm combo just instant win.
For your opponent. It doesn't affect your opponent's graveyard. It only affects yours.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, okay.
But once it comes into play, okay, now I can sack my bauble and replay it. Is that fair, rather than like digging, like being able to... I don't know.
More fair, yes. I agree. I think 100%. But like fair enough that Luris is still not completely busted? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Don't know either. And I'm sure there's probably some way and would figure out, oh, I can just exile everything.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
know. I don't know.
Moving on
It's a
from
good
that.
question. Yeah, that's
It is a really
question.
good, really good question. So the next question, 21 Gilmore asks, what is our thoughts on the difference in price between the enemy and ally fetches?
It's mostly
It's availability, right?
availability and color combination.
I don't even think it's color combinations.
Well, that I mean, like the blue fetches are more, and followed up by like Verdant Catacomb.
Well, order fetches as far as like power level of the color combination. Let's just do like top 3.
Delta.
Delta's number 1, right? And Delta
Yeah.
is a
Blue-black.
more recently printed fetch.
No, it's printed in Onslaught.
But it has a recent printing.
Oh yeah, in cons. Probably then Misty.
You don't think it's Tarn then Misty?
Or Tarn then Misty. Sorry.
Yep, I was say it's and your order is the exact same as mine. It's Delta, Tarn, Misty. And I mean, obviously, 2 of those 3 are original Zendikar fetches. One of them is
The Tarns are the most expensive, aren't they?
and that's what I'm saying. Tarns and Misties are more expensive than Delta because
It also
Delta
might
was
be-
printed in a standard legal set.
Yeah, it also might be what they play into. Like Tarn sees more play probably over the formats than the others.
But I do think that the disparagement in the pricing of them has more to do with availability
Oh yeah,
than playability.
there was a lot more cons boxes and forward because not that many Onslaught boxes. I'm sure there was a shitload open. Don't get me wrong, but if you were to actually figure out
compared
that
to cons,
number,
it's probably less than like an 8th. I genuinely think the fraction is that low.
yeah, that's my guess. That and well, it's not even playability because
It's definitely not playability because I think in a perfect world, I think we are right that Polluted Delta is probably across the board the most playable fetch land.
yeah, it's just those are the arguably best colors in multiple formats.
Yep. And having access to both of any combination of blue or black is probably the best.
Yeah, and if someone says
The
blue
formats
is
that you
not
can
the
play
most
fetch
powerful
lands.
color, they're just wrong. Sorry, but blue is the best color there is. That they have. No, it really is. You can
Depends on
argue
the format. I think it depends
left
on
and
the
right,
format.
but I'm saying in Magic overall,
In
blue
the
is
history of Magic, I think that's
from start to now. Blue is overtly, Jesus, more powerful than the other
every
colors.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. It's because in the beginning of Magic they didn't understand the power of card advantage. That wasn't a
Yes.
concept that they got. But now they get it. But
Now
we
they
still
get
have
it.
the old mistakes to show us that they didn't get it.
Well, they got it after Weissman built a deck based on card advantage and
Yep.
slowly grinding your opponent out.
You live and you
Yeah.
learn, man. But that is the reason why the fetch lands are such a different price point from the Zendikar fetch, the original Zendikar fetches, to the Onslaught fetches that were reprinted in Concept Dark here.
Yeah, I agree.
Next question, a little bit of Vorthos action, because that's my shit. Emmett Neiman wanted to know what our favorite basic land arts are for forest and plains. Do you have an answer for this? Like that you can think of off the top of your head?
Urza Saga, probably, or Odyssey are some of the best arts, I would say.
Ooh.
Outside of like Alpha, but I genuinely think the art is actually better in like Odyssey or Urza Saga. Like Urza Saga Islands are amazing.
I actually don't disagree with that. I have a couple different, like you're just talking about just Urza Saga as a blanket for both the forest and the plains.
The plains, the best art is probably the big daffodils. That's like the pack promo or whatever.
Oh yes, it's the Sunflower Plain.
Yes, that one. That's probably the best. The best forest, probably. I want to say it's Saga or Odyssey. I'm trying to find
Saga
it.
or Odyssey. You're talking about the Sunflower Plains that you're referring to is the Ron Spear one.
Yeah, they're expensive as fuck. I was gonna buy them, and I was like,
They're
Jesus.
they're like a promo one, aren't they?
Yeah, I do like the pack lands too that are based off of real places. And
Oh
that's-
yes. There's like the island that is like Venice.
Yeah, that's what that plains is. That's like a real thing.
Yeah, the promo land.
Yeah, those are my actual favorite
yeah.
art.
I think that's actually really that's pretty solid answer. I obviously have some very strong opinions about what are the best plains arts of all time.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
I think one that I mean I do agree with you that the Ron Spears one, the daffodil one, or the sunflower one, very good. My boy Ryan Pancoast actually did a Planes that is reminiscent of that. Like he took inspiration from that one and did one that's all like white flowers with like a very dark sky. That one is a 10 out of 10, one of the best planes of all time. The Eric Peterson, I believe it's the Odyssey one with like the clouds in the background with the lightning coming down.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
And the barren trees. That one's an all-time great planes. And my favorite planes of all time is the Terry Springer.
Planes.
No, it's the Terry Springer Mercadian Mask planes. That's the one that I whiteboarded and have in Death and Taxes.
Yeah, that's the Star Wars planes.
Yeah, hut planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're
I figured
standing
that
up
would be
on top
planes.
of a hill and you're like peering
No,
down
it's
onto hut.
Tempest. Sorry. Tempest is my favorite. If you look up the Tempest Forest A, that's my favorite.
Oh, I like that. There is one, actually one of my favorite planes arts, or one of my favorite forest arts, is actually the art that is in the Commander deck, the Theros one. I also love Ryan Panko's forests, but also Ryan Panko stand here, so I definitely have more opinions on plane art than forest art, but some forests are absolutely bright.
Yeah, I like when they actually look like forests. I don't know why I thought Saga. It's Tempest. The Tempest Forest is
10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a good question. I could talk
really
about basics for way longer than I should be able to.
If you give me a fucking soapbox and tell me to talk about MTG art,
Yeah,
I could do that until
I'll be here all
the
fucking
fucking
night.
cows come home. That is my shit. But to move on from that, we have a question from Shane. This question I thought was really cool. He was asking if there's any good gameplay strategy books for Magic. His 8-year-old son just started playing and really getting into it. And he found a box of cards from the mid-90s. He doesn't really remember how to play, though. Matt, what's your recommendation for, maybe not books, but what is your recommendation to get somebody into Magic?
Go to right now you obviously can't, but go to a game store. A lot of store owners, they have like starter packs, people literally just starting and wanting to play.
Mm-hmm.
Or I forget what it is. Is it like fat packs that actually have like how to play in them?
Oh,
like
you're talking about like
sets?
the old school like deck builders toolkits.
Yes, those
were
teach
sick.
you how
I
to
don't know if they
play.
still make those anymore. I don't think they do.
Another good resource. Watch stuff on YouTube. Or if you want to get like more high level, I know Patrick Chapin has a fucking book.
Yeah, what about the book that's all about how to play Gosh properly?
You play Gush on your turn before you made a land drop, obviously.
Oh, there was an entire... Did you know that there's an entire book written about Gush?
I did not. That doesn't surprise me.
That's a real thing. But that was a joke answer. The actual sincere answer, I think Matt has a really good point. Go to an LGS and just strike up a dialogue with the owner of that shop. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help you along your paper Magic journey. This was also a conversation we kind of had on the Discord recently, where if you're looking to get somebody into Magic the Gathering as a blanket statement, get them into the game, the best tool out there is Magic Arena, and it's not even kind of...
Drafting is a good way to get people into it as well, because you don't need to have a collection already. You buy 3 packs, the shops give you basic lands, or if you do it online, same thing. You don't need to spend $500 to build a deck. You can literally spend $10 to $15 and play, and then you have cards.
I even think there's a learning curve with draft. If you are starting from ground zero nothing, Arena is your best option. And it's just because it's so user friendly. I don't easy to pick up.
Arena, so that wouldn't surprise me, because that is one of their tools to get people into the game now.
Arena is the best tool that they've ever had. They used to use like the intro decks that they printed and sold at your local Walmart or Target or whatever. They used to have other intro-based products, but nothing holds a candle to just being able to download Arena for free and then start jamming games with your collection against people who are also learning how to play Magic. Like, you learn the game digitally, and then if Wizards could somehow bridge the gap between Arena and paper, they would make trillions of dollars. They just have not found a way to actually give a fuck about both aspects of the game equally, or figured out a way to combine the two.
Yeah,
if they did that,
gap.
It'd be fucking game over, dude. It'd be absolutely game over. They just have not found a way to effectively do it.
How-to videos on as well, or sure there's a plethora of videos out there teaching people how to play.
Yep.
It's a good question.
Yeah, that was a very, very good question. And our next question also kind of segues off of that in a really cool way. And it is actually from Janata, who was the winner of one of our first giveaways because of how good their initial question was. And this question is also so cool.
Follow-up banger.
Yeah, I mean, the guy crushes the question game. It's not even kind of close.
Friggin' Italians.
Yeah, right. The Italian Stallions. But so Gianna wanted to know, I always play Yu-Gi-Oh! With my girlfriend, and she loves it. Since I realized that the game just wasn't for me, we don't play as much anymore. Since Commander is my favorite way to play his favorite TCG, which is obviously Magic, what is the best way to introduce her to the format? Now, I'm assuming that they might know at least the basics about Magic.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and if they don't, then refer to the previous question that we answered. If they do know the basics about the game, I think the best way to get into Commander is honestly building a deck.
That's what I was going to say. Pick a commander that you really like and it's fun, and then build around it.
That is 100% it.
Make it her own. That way, she can do whatever she wants with it. If she wants to go this direction or that direction, and then play. And then it's every single, no matter even if I play a deck that I played 100 times, it's like, I don't really like this in here. I want to change it. And then you get to go through that process again.
And like, that is the best part about Commander 2, is that when you build your own deck versus buying one of the precons, like I've played multiple games with all of the precons that have come out. Usually, I mean, and Matt can attest to this, every single time that a precon comes out, I usually buy one of them.
I buy them just for the fuck of it. And it's generally if something's in there that I want or I think looks cool, I'll buy it. And even then, sometimes I don't. Like for example, the one that makes the fucking eggs that you sacrifice and it's an Oath of Druids, pretty much. Yeah. That one, I just, something very similar. It's because I like it. I wanted to buy it. I just.
But when you sit down and play a game with a deck that somebody else built,
it's not the same.
It just like you feel a little bit disjointed, where it's more about the game and less about your relationship with it. The beautiful thing about Commander is that you have this unique relationship with the deck that you build. If you build it from scratch, like Matt alluded to before, you play the game and you're just like, oh, I don't know if I like this card, and you can make the tweaks. Or I've had my Crufix deck for probably going on 5 years. It's my favorite Commander deck by a significant margin. And every time I play it, I get to create memories with that deck. And those memories follow that deck. So like when a card comes out, that's a difficult decision. And when a new card comes in, it's like it has to warm up to the rest of the deck. But like every time I play the card Curse of the Swine, which is in that deck, every time I play that card, I think about a time where I've cast it before, where it just like completely changed the context of the game, and it was such a cool card that I cast. And that really helps you get more into not just that deck, but the format of Commander in its entirety.
Yeah.
So yeah, the best way to, I think, get people into Commander is if they are familiar with the game of Magic the Gathering and they understand mechanics in the game, sit down with them and build a deck. Now, don't let them go hog wild and build their own deck, because the chances of them building something that is maybe not optimal or maybe not very good is pretty high. If you're going to be playing with them, build something that's along the power lines of the deck that you're going to be playing against it. And then they will have like the memories of building that deck and thinking about, oh, do I want this card or this card?
Yeah, don't blow them out of the water.
Yeah. Help them put their deck together, make it feel like their own. And then they're going to love that deck. And in turn, they're going to start loving Commander because of it. Because I think anybody who loves Commander has that connection with it where, oh, you're growing with your own creation. That's why Commander, I think, is one of the best formats of Magic.
Yeah, you could literally go the lowest power level deck to a tier 1 competitive deck.
Yeah, that was an awesome question.
It's a good question.
Well,
freaking Italians killing it.
Always. Every single time they kill it. Well, let's segue off of that into...
Let me clarify, when I say friggin' Italians,
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely a big time good thing. But we'll segue off of that into some more Commander specific questions. Matt is not a huge Commander fan, so we'll probably blow through these ones relatively quick. But TJ, Resident Combo Player, asked us, what is your favorite Commander to play against and least favorite to play against? So most favorite, least favorite. Matt, do you have an answer for this?
Kind of. It's less of a specific commander and more of a play style. So what do I like to play against? Stuff that's going to let me draw a lot of cards or give me resources, etc. Least favorite is probably like style decks where you're just taking turns, like a shitload of turns.
That's a good answer.
Like, it's one thing if you play Time Warp and you like recur it twice, but if that's all you're doing, that's kind of sucks.
No, I dig that. I would say my least favorite decks to play against, and I think Nekusar is actually a really good example. So I would say Nekusar is my least favorite commander to play against. Cards that punish you for doing something that is just a net positive for basically every single deck. Like, drawing cards is something that the blue deck wants to do, the green deck wants to do, the white deck wants to do. Every combination of decks, they're actively drawing cards is something that they want to do. Any deck that punishes that feels really bad. And the fact that the Nekusar decks are just like, oh, I'm going to completely reset your game plan with like wheel effects and also just win the game. Nekusar is really an abysmal fuck to play against, especially if it's like a competitive Nekusar deck. That is a fucking miserable time. Inversely, my favorite decks to play against in Commander are usually the decks that are kind of group huggy, but just decks that kind of just like do their own thing, kind of police the board, that if I'm doing something too out of hand, they kill the thing that I'm doing. If one of my opponents is doing something too out of hand, they kill the thing. I like the Commander players and the decks that sit back and just like kind of manage the game, keep everything within a reasonable parameter. I like those. I like playing with those people.
Kind of like my deck.
Yes, and the fact that you played such a degenerate commander, but played it in that way, made me change my mind about Madrotha.
Well, to begin with, it was very degenerate and literally locked people out.
Yeah, you were
fast.
scuffed. You played a very hyper-competitive CEDH deck when you first built Madrotha.
Oh, yeah. That was the goal. Now I scaled it back a good bit. It's still powerful, but not.
But now it's fun.
Hey, you can untap your lands. Your artifacts don't work? What a shame.
Yeah, you played Madrotha stacks initially, and now you're just playing like Sultai good stuff with Madrotha as your commander.
It has more of a lands theme than lands and yard.
And Doug
Teague.
Yeah, Doug Teague. What commander?
WT!
Yo, DT! But he wanted to know what you dislike seeing the most at the table. Similar to our previous question.
Jeskai won.
Ooh, you're talking about like you're talking about Zedru?
No, Narset, the Enlightened Master, or whatever.
Narset, the hexproof one.
Yeah.
Where she hits and you get to anticipate.
You get to do a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, that card's brutal. Yeah, that card's good. I hate that one's a really good answer actually. Nekusar, I hate seeing. There are builds of like I said, Zedru that are just miserable to play against. Also, Golos. Every time I see a Golos player sit down across from me, I'm like, oh great, now I know who I have to kill first.
Oh, you mean you don't like them going to get their
fucking Field of the Dead? No, turns out Field of the Dead is a piece of shit in every format.
Field of the Dead or any of the super busted powerful lands like Gaia's Cradle, Urborg, and what's his nuts combo, the
Cabal Coppers.
I can never remember the name of that. I know exactly what it does, but I'm always.
I noticed that. But yeah, I hate Golos. Golos is one of my least favorite. Volbat. Next question. Volbat wants to know what our favorite colorless commander is.
Mine is, I forget what the name. It's one of the big Eldrazi when it comes into play. If you don't have 7 cards in your hand, draw up to make your hand 7 cards.
You're talking about the new Kozilek.
Yeah, that one.
New Kozilek is really good one. Yeah, fuck yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably him. I guess, because they're devoid of everything. That or Golos is actually probably the best.
Golos is not a colorless commander.
It's a fucking colorless commander, dude.
No, it's not. It's a 5-color commander.
Your deck is 5 colors. He himself is a card.
Nope. His color identity is all 5 of them colors.
Whatever. All right. So the other thing then, Kozilek.
Yeah, the new Kozilek is a good one. My favorite is Karn Silver Golem, but only because I actually have a Karn Silver Golem deck, and that is for a format that me and my friends play called Wood Nickel. And
my friends and I.
Whatever. I wasn't aware the grammar police were coming to harass me right now.
Yeah.
After being 6 beers in, I'm allowed to not speak correctly.
Fair.
But yeah, I just built Karn Silver Golem, who I thoroughly enjoy. Wood Nickel format where all the cards in the deck have to be under 5 cents. It's all on Magic Online. Love that deck. It is actually probably the most powerful Wood Nickel deck I've ever built, where I can take it into actual commander rooms and actually hold my shit against real commander decks. I thought the cyclic deck was going to be good, I think that the Karn deck is much better than the cycling.
The cycling deck, you need some of those broken cycling cards,
Yeah, that I'm just missing out on.
which aren't in there.
No, turns out really expensive bad artifacts. Not very expensive on Magic Online, but if you can turn like the Shrine of Ishna, that 7-mana artifact that when it enters the battlefield you destroy a target permanent. Turns out when you turn that into a 7/7 and attack with it, it's pretty okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm really into that. Now
Turns out
this is
turn
almost
stuff
like the
into
opposite.
7/7.
I love me a good 7/7. Now this is like the opposite end of the spectrum, Matt. Do you have a favorite 3-color commander?
That should be pretty obvious. Muldrotha.
Muldrotha seems about right.
It literally made me play Commander. I tried many a time to play Commander, and as soon as Dominaria came out and that card was spoiled, I said, "Yep, that's the one."
You know what? I 100% can respect that too. I was trying before that time to get you into Commander for the longest time,
And I tried many
and
times.
you
I'm
tried
I
and just
fucking
couldn't
hate
do
this.
it. And then the second Muldrotha came out, you're like, "Oh, I get it now."
It was something that I wanted to actually do.
And I respect that. I respect your love for that card because that cards are insanely good.
I respect your respect.
Now, Matt, do you want to know what my favorite 3-color commander?
Nicol Bolas.
No, it is not that color combination in the slightest.
Something Bant, probably then.
Oh, you were so close. You have 2 of the 3 colors, right?
Chess guy.
Nope.
Red, blue, black. No, red, blue,
Nope.
white, blue, black. Esper.
Nope.
Fuck, I don't know. Tell me, Jesus
It's
Christ.
Naya. It is actually, I think, Commander 20. It was the second Commander product, not the original one, the second one. It's Marath, Will of the Wild. It is the one that's like the Naya color, and then when it enters the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 equal to the mana that you spent on it. So every time you
creatures cost that less or whatever.
No, it has remove a counter on it, and you can either put a counter on something else. You can deal X damage, or you can put XX or put an XX elemental equal to the number of counters removed. Marathas. That was my first commander that I ever built because I got that precon and was just like, "Oh, this card is nuts," and then went deep on that commander and like spent a ton of time building that. And then now that I look back and probably look at that deck, it's probably unplayable.
Most likely.
But that was the first commander that I ever like fell in love with was Marath. So big shout out to that.
I respect your decision.
Yeah, I respect your respect, Matt.
I see what you did there.
But we only got a couple questions left, and the rest of the questions I think we can blow through pretty quickly because they are all in regards to the real reason why we're all here today.
I had to be.
No, you didn't have to be. You could have totally fucking bounced. You were supposed to, actually.
I know. Don't remind me. It hurts.
No, these questions are in regards to our giveaway, Matt.
All right, let's hear them.
We had a couple people ask about the commander deck that we're giving away, which is the Torsten von Ursus deck. We had a few people, namely Matt McCormick and Doot on Twitter, ask, "Why Torsten?"
Doot. I love that name.
Doot. Yep, that gave me. Typing it out was real fun too. Yeah, Matt, why Torsten?
It's kind of an inside thing that happened. Accumulated knowledge with frenemy of the podcast, Corey.
Oh, loves you, Corey.
Where he got it, and no one knew what it fucking did because it is hot garbage from Legends. But
it's a monstrosity of a card.
Yeah, we could keep it themey, and then it really sparked it whenever friend of the podcast Dave sent you a copy of it.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, saw this on the internet. I think it was on eBay." He's like, "Hey, I got it for you guys, so enjoy."
He honestly probably paid more for the shipping than
the actual card itself.
Than the actual card, yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, you gotta love a good fucking Torsten von Ursus, man.
Yeah, but that's why.
Yep.
And he can also be affectionately known as Uncle Rico.
Oh, he's got many nicknames.
Yes, that he does.
Gotta love me a good Uncle Rico. But yeah, that is why Torsten. Also, Paperclip Maker on Twitter was asking, will this be the commander deck that's up for grabs? Yeah, the commander deck that I posted the picture for, that's the one that's getting given away. That exact deck.
That it is. I believe that you also made all the arts and for the basics.
Yep, all of the basic planes of the same art, and all of the basic forests of the same art. Because I am way OCD, and I could not send a deck out without that being the case.
I would have done it the exact opposite. Every single one would have been different.
That is the difference between you and I, Matt.
Or they would have been foil.
Oh, see, there's only one foil card in the deck. How
Is it?
upset does that make?
What's the foil?
The foil is actually the promo version of the Hero of Bladehold.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see it right there, yeah.
Because that hero art is so freaking.
So dope, yep. Okay, that makes sense.
And we had a couple other questions about the exact contents of the deck. Like questions about like what's like the coat of arms in the deck. What exactly does that do? If there
We'll
are
have to wait and find out.
other specific cards in the deck. Yeah, and the whole entire concept behind this was kind of us building the deck and then sending it out. We did have one person ask, and it's Naysayer on Twitter. They asked, what is the win condition of this deck?
Duh.
I would say the win condition of this deck is taking your opponent's life total from 40 to 0. Or, I mean, you could also, in theory, go and take their commander damage from 0 to 21. You could do that as well.
You can do whatever your heart desires.
But attacking is the thing that you would want to do. Besides that, and the cards that you can visibly see from the picture, that's the only information that I want to give out about this deck until somebody has officially won it. Then we will release the deck list to the world.
I would wait till it gets to the person.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when it's like sent out and we have a confirmation that it has arrived safely. The Eagle has.
There are definitely
officially
some
landed.
goodies in this deck too.
Oh my goodness. And you can see them in the picture. Like there are cards that are worth a good amount of money.
Temple Garden, Heath, Ellis Norn. I don't know how much that card is anymore. Coat of
Ellis
Arms.
Norn's like $20.
That's what I thought. Coat of Arms. July.
Oh my goodness. And the Temple Garden is the original Ravnica Temple Garden.
Look at you.
We got some spice in there.
Why do you have an original art one?
I just had it.
It's surprising to me.
I don't know why, but I did. We also had, it was Jackson Hill asked us, why does that Ellis Norn look so good in the picture of the deck list? That's because it came out of my personal collection. When you actually get the card, it has a little bit of shuffle crease on the top because I shuffle like a fucking barbarian. But that card has been put from the graveyard onto the battlefield by unburial rates more times than I could possibly.
That's what Modern used.
Mm-hmm. And I loved that deck, but you know what they say, Matt? If you love something, you gotta let it go, man.
Should have bought the promo that was in the made-up Praetor language.
Oh, that... Do you know how much that card is?
Not as nearly as much as it used to be.
That's still like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, it's like $300 now. It was like $800.
Worth it though. That is the coolest version of a card I've ever seen.
Yeah, same exact art. It's just
It just has Phyrexian text around,
yeah.
which is so sick.
No, but yeah, that's the deck you're getting. The win condition is killing people.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Now,
Do
Matt,
we have any other questions?
no, I think that closes out the questions, man.
That's a wrap on the Q&A.
Donzo. I guess there's only one more thing we can do.
What is it?
We got to announce the winners, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. So, yeah, I was going for the long con, and
Just completely. That's when you were going to cut out, is just like before we announce the winner.
she ruined it.
I'm just, listen, man, I'm too smart for you. Just tricked you into it.
Well,
Wait, are we going to play Accumulated Knowledge this week?
do you want to? We're at like 3 hours. We can. I don't care.
Maybe we should hold off on Accumulated Knowledge.
Give the people a break. There's going to be riots in the fucking streets.
This will be the first episode we don't play Accumulated Knowledge.
President Donnie's going to have to martial law everyone.
We're going to be quarantined because we must be sick in the head because we...
Yeah, we went through a lot of shit. Let's let them print some more cards. They can get
Next time
added
we
in.
play Accumulated Knowledge, it's going to be only with cards that come out in Double Stuff Oreo Masters.
They have been printed before. So that is legitimately something that could be done.
All right, Matt. Well, I have...
Insert drum roll music there.
Put in the music. Put in the drum roll thing. I gotta type in the number of things. Also, I have to do a little bit of quick math.
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to win.
You are not.
Although I did win because I'll be getting one of the playmats.
All right, Matt, are you ready to figure out who wins this commander deck?
I was born ready.
All right. Random number has been generated. It is Dana Williams on Twitter. That is at DL Williams 86. So, Dana, congratulations. You are the proud owner of a brand new commander deck.
Hurrah! People were wishing their downfall.
Ah, poor Dana. All of this jealousy that's just now mounted upon him.
You're going to have some folks coming for you. So,
Got it. Well, congratulations.
yeah, congrats.
We do still have more giveaways, though. let's fire up the next one.
Waiting on you, son.
The next person that we announce is going to win a custom fetch and shock playmat.
Get your number generated.
I did. Oh shit. This is a real good one. The person who wins the fetch and shock playmat is Dennis Fleur, Canadian MTG.
Good old Dennis Fleur. Even with your bullshit Ulamog.
Yeah, even though he's a scumbag with Ulamog, he got paid off big time.
Well, I'm sure that they put in.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Pretty active in the Twitterverse.
Yep, and that definitely got it.
Congrats, yeah.
Congratulations. You are the proud recipient of a Fetch and Shock custom playmat.
Now you never have to listen to us again. You did it.
You really don't. Yeah, now you can just give up. Pretty fucking cool. Now, Matt, we have one more giveaway, and this is the mystery giveaway.
Scooby-Doo theme song.
Yeah, Mystery Machine rolling in. Our next winner, this is our last one, Matt. Mystery giveaway winner.
Drum roll.
Our winner of our mystery prize is TJ Resident Combo Player on Twitter. It is at RageBlade31.
They put a question in, didn't they?
They did for sure. That question was a good one too.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember the name.
Oh no, it was what's your favorite commander to play against?
Yeah, that is a good.
Yeah, so congratulations to all of our 1 year anniversary winners.
And then you'll reach out and get some contact info.
Yeah, how about if the people who are listening to this, if they hear that they won, reach out to me on Twitter or reach out to the Fetch and Shock podcast on Twitter. You follow the podcast so you'll know where to find us. Reach out to me, say that, hey, listened to the episode. I won the thing. I will get your information. I will get the stuff from you, and I will send out your prize next week. And then if I don't hear back from you,
post haste.
I will wait a couple days. I'll probably wait until the end of the weekend because it is a holiday weekend, so I'm not going to be able to send anything out anyway. And then come next Monday, I will reach out to you and get your information and send the stuff out to you. So congratulations to everybody who entered.
That's the holiday. You might want to reach out Tuesday.
Oh, that's true. I reach out Tuesday. You're right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So you will hear from me Tuesday. But if you listen to this and you hear that you won, just reach out to me instead. That makes my life easier.
Yeah. Don't have to track people down.
Exactly. So congratulations to all of our 1 year anniversary winners. And then thank you, all of you, for listening in and for participating in our giveaway. These giveaways are always super fucking fun.
Except Corey.
Yeah, Corey, fuck you, dude.
I don't know why. It brings me such joy. Probably because he can hear it and he can't talk shit back.
He can't defend himself.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Corey, just kidding. We love you. We'll have you back on soon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, now that this whole 1 year shenanigans shit is over, I want to hear how Corey's been handling quarantine.
Yeah, that'll be a fun story.
Fucking love it. But yeah, Matt, do you have anything else to say for our 1 year?
Happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday to us! We did it, man. This is a 1 year. This is a milestone.
That it is. If anyone wants to hear other shit, fuck off. We don't want you anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Let us know.
Well, I mean, where could they let us know if they wanted to maybe contact us?
On the Twitterverse at @fetch_shock. On the Discord, the link is on the Twitter, which I just gave you the link to. If you want to find numbnuts, Tyler, it's @BasicLandBin.
That's me.
And then mine is @It'sBop. Couldn't be more simple.
No, it's easy as pie. Almost as easy as entering our giveaways, which I mean we do kind of frequently. We've done like a good 4 during our time being a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, our group of friends from where we all grew up is starting an old school league, and I'll probably stream some of those games on the Discord. So I'll throw that out when we're doing that.
I fucking love that idea. That's so sick.
And you might not hear audio or something, but you can at least watch us play some games and be in chat, and I'll be in chat or in the Discord. And
I'll stick around and I'll just commentary over top of it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'd be super into that. That's such a cool idea. There's plenty of shit coming out of the Fetch and Shock camp. We're trying to do a live stream with you and I.
Yeah, once
possibly
we can
some old school game content, just all of our normal content that we're giving out for free because we're the greatest. Fuck yeah. Everybody out there, you're so welcome.
It's a fucking treat to have us.
Yeah, we're 10 out of 10 great content.
That's what fucking assholes say. You're welcome for my presence.
Yeah, you're welcome for us existing. No, but I guess in all sincerity, thank you for everybody who's ever listened to this podcast in the past 365 days. It's been a wild ride, but it's been a fucking blast every step of the way.
It's been very fun.
Yeah, and me and Matt are going to continue to do this for as long as you guys continue to give a shit. So if you dig it, continue to give a shit, and we will still be bringing it.
Giving a shit by listening.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the way to give a shit, is just by listening to the podcast.
Oh, I thought you said giving shit. Like, giving us shit.
No, give us shit. Like, shit in your hand and throw it at us like a monkey.
Give it.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I misheard. Did you hear that the bird is the word?
That, in 15 seconds, is fashion shock in a nutshell.
Yeah, trying to get something done and just going off on nonsense.
Sidetrack City.
That's all right. Yeah, let's wrap it.
All right, boys. Well, I've had a lot to drink, and I need to go do something else. So,
peace.
Oh, you're gonna do peace first? Oh my God, I'm panicking.
I was
Now, what do I do? Look, happy birthday, nerd!
Dude, I give her a whirl.
Panic for the first time in 385 days.
You're like, what is going on?
I'm like, shit, what do I do? Oh no! God damn it.
Yeah, I beat you to the punch there.
Fucking peace, nerd!